Hello everybody, welcome back to another Wellness Whispers video. Today we are joined with a special guest, the young and dynamic Dr. Aparna Eraj. Namaste ma'am.
Namaste.
Dr. Aparna has completed her bachelor's in naturopathy and yogic sciences and also gone on to do a master's in yoga. Ma'am, the topic I would love to touch upon today is breathing techniques. So I'm a Iyengar yoga student of 9 years, so I've heard a lot about pranayam and how it can sort of relax you, and meditation in that regard. And other breathing techniques like the Wim Hof technique are also becoming very popular today. And since you know so much about that, I would love to kind of discuss what actually goes down at a cellular level when these techniques are being explored and how it can actually help the body.
So pranayam is also called as breath retention. So we are actually intentionally holding our breath.
Right.
So when you hold your breath, the oxygen level in the blood drops down and the carbon dioxide level increases.
Right.
That causes a hypoxemia.
Right.
And this hypoxia is also causing a mild stress at the cellular level.
Okay.
Now, when the carbon dioxide saturation increases in the blood, it converts into carbonic acid,
Correct.
which reduces the pH of the blood. And because of which, the delivery of oxygen to the tissues becomes much higher.
Okay.
So that is why when a gentle hypoxia is created,
Right.
the oxygen perfusion at the tissue level increases.
Okay.
And this also leads to the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. So our nervous system has two components.
Right.
We call it the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for the fight and flight response during a stressful event. And we also have something called as the parasympathetic nervous system, which we call it as a rest and digest system.
Okay.
Now, when you do pranayam or breathing practices, it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps in inducing a mode of relaxation response to the entire body.
Right. Wow, Dr. Aparna, that was a master's answer right there. I'm going to try to just put this into context for the audience and sort of simplify this explanation. So everyone, basically pranayam, you control, it's called breath retention, right? You are controlling the amount of oxygen you inhale. And what that does is it causes a state of hypoxia, which is reduced oxygen in the blood. Now what happens is there's more carbon dioxide in the blood. Now when there's more carbon dioxide, that dissolves into something called as carbonic acids. And as we know, acids cause a lower pH in the blood. Now, very simply, we won't go too much into the mechanisms, but what that lower pH does is it allows hemoglobin to release oxygen. So, although there is that initial state of low oxygen and hypoxia because I'm controlling my breath, it actually leads to more oxygen in the tissues. Next, what happens is there is something called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for resting and digesting. And that is essentially what's getting the oxygen and getting activated better, which is why in a simple cellular level, these breathing techniques are causing so much relaxation for us.
Pranayam also helps to reduce the stress levels in all the various kinds of lifestyle disorders, starting from diabetes mellitus, hypertension, autoimmune conditions. Now, when you breathe slowly and when you retain the breath and when you control the heart, the breathing rates per minute, it actually helps to reduce the cortisol level in your blood.
Yes.
And cortisol, as we all know, is a hormone which is responsible for the stress within the body.
Yeah. Alright guys, now you know a lot more about the pranayam that India has been doing for generations. It's not placebo, it has a real biological logic to it. And then also, Dr. Aparna heard something really interesting. When a baby is in the womb, I believe it's exposed to the same hypoxic condition, when there is less oxygen present. So can you tell us a little bit about how that's fundamental for human development? And I mean, it's so cool that that happens before we're even born.
So in the womb, the oxygen levels are at least 30 to 50% lesser than the atmospheric oxygen level.
Right.
So this reduced oxygen level, which causes hypoxia even when you are in the womb, it actually activates the stem cell stimulation. Now the stem cells are the primary or the basic cells in human body, which develops into different tissues in the body. So this hypoxic condition also helps for the stem cell stimulation. Along with that, it also activates different or various forms of neural pathways, which leads to the formation of a well-developed nervous system in a child. Now along with that, it also helps in the activation of mitochondria or a stronger mitochondria mitochondria, which is actually the powerhouse of the cell.
Thank you so much for that explanation. That's super awesome. And I want to ask you now, ma'am, now that we discussed Gen Z, right? There are so many different people. For instance, I'm a 17-year-old athlete. What type of pranayam would I do in my daily schedule versus what would you recommend to someone that's maybe into some different interests? What is like an optimal time of day, for instance, or how many times should we be doing it? Could you tell us a little bit about how Gen Z can implement this in their life?
As an athlete, your main focus would be to optimize your performance.
Right.
Now, that will happen only with a good lung capacity.
Absolutely.
So, to increase the lung capacity, pranayams like the Kapalbhati and Bhastrika,
Right.
it plays a very good role. It helps in enhancing the lung capacity along with improving the strength of the intercostal muscles.
Okay.
Also, it helps in enhancing the function of your diaphragm as well as the intercostal muscle to increase the vital capacity of the lung and to increase the oxygen saturation in your body.
Right.
Also, not only that, now being an athlete, along with activation of the body by doing Kapalbhati and Bhastrika, it's also very important to calm down and relax your system.
Right.
And now that will happen only when you practice a balancing pranayama such as Anulom Vilom, that we call frequently as,
Right.
or we also call it as Nadi Shuddhi, when you combine it with a retention of breath in between.
Right.
So, Nadi Shuddhi or Anulom Vilom is alternate nostril breathing, where you'll be inhaling through one nostril and exhaling to the alternate nostril.
Yeah.
Now, this helps to activate the two important nadis in our body. Now, one we call it as the Surya Nadi, which correlates again back to your sympathetic nervous system,
Yeah.
which gives you the flight and fight response. And then the other we call it as the Chandra Nadi, which is basically the left nostril breathing, and that correlates with your parasympathetic nervous system. Yes, very good.
Yeah.
So a balance of both these two nadis, that is the Surya Nadi and Chandra Nadi, helps to bring an equilibrium, a state of equilibrium, and a state of relaxation to your body. Especially for students with a lot of stress, it's very important to practice a very good relaxation practice. We call this pranayam as the Brahari pranayam.
Okay.
The Brahari, we also call it as Brahmara or the humming bee breath. Now, it says we human beings are connected to the external world because of our 5 sense organs.
Yeah.
Now, in Brahmari, we try to literally close off all these connection to the outside body, and we start looking deep within and understanding what happens from within. And we are trying to synchronize the entire body's frequency to one ma sound. That is a humming bee sound,
Yes.
which helps to bring a complete synchronicity to the complete body and organs in the system. So, in order to practice Brahmari, you have to sit straight, keep your spine, neck, and back erect. Keep your hands comfortably on your thighs first. Now, take a deep breath, inhale deeply and exhale completely. Then, you have to use, we call this particular mudra or the hand gesture as Shanmukhi mudra.
Okay.
So you have to use your thumb finger for closing your ears,
Right.
your index finger for closing your eyes, and for middle finger to close your nose, and the ring finger for the upper lip, and the lower finger for your lower lip. So we call this mudra as Shanmukhi mudra, and in order to practice this, you have to inhale deeply and then exhale with a hum sound.
And Dr. Aparna, I couldn't see you. Do you have a Gen Z kind of hack?
Okay, a simpler version of doing pranayam.
Yeah.
We're actually telling you to close off all the 5 sense organs, which
Right.
you can do it with the eyes, the lips closed and everything.
Right.
So you can just use your index finger to close your ears.
Okay, and then shut your eyes.
Yes, shut your eyes. Take a deep breath in, inhale deeply, and while exhaling, you have to chant.
That's a nice hack. Thank you so much for telling us about that.
So there is one more thing that I definitely want the world to know about pranayam.
Yes.
In yogic philosophy, we measure the life not in terms of years.
Yes.
We measure it in terms of breath.
Okay.
Okay, so it is a number of breaths you take in your lifetime.
Okay.
And the breath becomes a unit of awareness. And in yoga, we doesn't say breathing or the air as just the air. It is a prana which correlates to the life force.
Okay,
So when you breathe fast, erratically, without any awareness, you're depleting your life force.
Okay,
When you do it with lot of awareness, very slowly, it also increases your lifespan. A turtle breathes very slowly, so the number of breaths per minute is very less. Because of that, it has a longer lifespan.
Okay.
So when you breathe slowly, deeply, it actually ensures you have good longevity because it helps in improving your gene expression for having age reversal as well.
Thank you so much for these fabulous insights, Dr. Aparna. I'm extremely motivated to practice some of these in my daily life. I'm so happy we did one pranayam as well. And I hope you guys are also beginning to see the magic behind these pranayam and all these other forms of breathing techniques. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.